Michelle Obama is the only one I see that could really make a run at President Trump. And about anybody they pick, I think if we do this transition right and make the process, President Trump will win, and I think could win big. But I would think a ticket with Michelle Obama, that also takes care of, obviously, the Kamala Harris situation. I think, to me, Michelle Obama would be the most competitive because it would go back to the nostalgia they have for the Obama administration.
Turns out Steve Bannon was right. And that's according to new polling that shows that while First Lady Michelle Obama has absolutely no interest in partisan politics or even running for president, she actually would be beating Donald Trump if she chose to run against him, and she would beat him by double digits. So yesterday, Reuters and Ipsos released its latest poll comparing a Trump and Biden matchup to a hypothetical with various replacements, okay? And so the poll surveyed about 892 registered voters, and it has a margin of error of 3.2%, which really doesn't matter because Michelle Obama very clearly beats Trump by such a wide margin here. So let's take a look at this graph so you'll get a sense of what I'm talking about here. So Biden and Trump are both tied at 40% each, according to this poll. Michelle Obama is the Democrat with the most support and the only Dem beating Trump 50% to Trump's 39%. And so all other hypothetical Democratic candidates performed similarly or worse than Biden against Trump. But I do want to kind of warn you about that. Michelle Obama, like Kamala Harris, they have way more name recognition than some of these other potential replacements to Biden. And so various governors who have been floated, whether it be Gretchen Whitmer or JD Pritzker, I mean, the second one of them is chosen to be Biden's replacement, there will be wall-to-wall media coverage about them. And so I think the name recognition issue would certainly change the results of this poll. But I'm curious what you think, John. What are your thoughts on how much love Michelle Obama is getting in this poll? Thanks for watching. Our audience has helped build TYT into the media giant it is today. Together, we can accomplish anything. Support our work and join us at tyt.com/team.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of considerations. I think you started with name recognition. That's a huge one. The other people on the list, I mean, Gavin Newsom's pretty well known, but there's still huge sections of the country that won't have seen him before. And so that's definitely a deficit. I mean, even if people aren't familiar with Michelle Obama a ton, they know Obama. They associate her with Barack. They associate her with a time before Donald Trump and Joe Biden. So there's that instant nostalgia, not necessarily the nostalgia Steve Bannon is talking about, where it's just for the Obama family, but it's for that time. And I love Steve Bannon pointing out how some political movements can't move on from people after they're no longer president. But anyway, I think Michelle Obama is thought of basically only with positive characteristics because she's never really had to like take a stand on a really divisive issue and be on the side you're not on. Like she's there for Barack Obama. Like she hasn't been in charge. She hasn't made decisions, some of which might have failed, some of which might have turned people off. We honestly don't even know specifically where she stands on almost any issues. Like, does she believe in climate change? Yeah, almost certainly. What does she want to do about it? I have no idea. And so you kind of just put onto her, yeah, she's nice and confident and she gives good speeches and she looks really elegant and like it's sort of like a blank slate with some positive context. Whereas if she were to run, then she'd have to actually start debating and taking positions, and that might theoretically hurt her. That said, when you see a headline like she's beating Trump by 11 points, I think a lot of people are gonna be like, well, let's ask some follow-up questions because that sounds pretty good.
So last week or the week before, I can't remember, Cenk and I covered a story about why Michelle Obama hasn't really been a visible campaigner on behalf of Joe Biden. This was actually prior to the debate. And so it wasn't about like, oh, Biden's not really performing well and that's why Michelle Obama isn't supporting him. No. It had to do with the fact that she felt that the Biden family was not being kind and was really treating Hunter Biden's ex-wife poorly. And apparently she has struck a friendship with Hunter Biden's ex-wife. So she doesn't like the way that a friend of hers is being treated by the Biden family, which is why she hasn't really been out campaigning for Joe Biden. And look, I don't know how true that story is, but I like that story. That story made me like Michelle Obama. Because to me, that showed a level of loyalty to her friends that she feels is more important than all of the political nonsense. You get what I'm saying? Like, I know that that's a small thing and it's a personal characteristic, but it's a personal characteristic that speaks volumes to me. I really value being loyal to your friends and family and showing them that you love them and you're there for them and you'll always defend them. And speak the truth to them when you need to speak the truth to them. Don't get me wrong. But I do think you make a really good point, John, about how she is a bit of a blank slate. And that certainly does help her in polls like this because, yeah, what are you going to point to when it comes to Michelle Obama that's negative? And to be fair, she hasn't really been forced into a situation or a divisive issue where she has to make a declarative statement or share her opinion.
Yeah. I mean, like in terms of policy, the only thing I can think of where I would be critical of her is I remember she sort of took up as her issue like youth fitness and health. And she pushed for instance, like the first time that added sugars would be added to like nutrition labels, which corporations did not want because they pump everything full of sugar and they don't want you to know about it. And she pushed for that. And she was really pushing for them to make processed foods healthier. And then I remember there was a big pushback. And in the latter part of the Obama administration, it became like, get out and move. Like eat whatever you want. We're working, with Coke now. But it doesn't matter what you eat as long as you also exercise.
Right.
And it's like the cool thing about encouraging exercise is it doesn't cut into corporate profits. So I didn't like the bowing down to obvious donor pressure. It just felt kind of Obama-ish, honestly. But that's like one thing from 10 years ago that I can think of in terms of policy.
Yeah, and look, what would a Democrat be if not someone willing to cave to the demands of corporations and donors, right? So it's just standard stuff. I mean, can you name a single Democrat that would replace Biden who wouldn't cave to corporate pressure or donor pressure? I can't.
Not that they'd pick, I'd say Bernie, but they're not gonna let him.
Right, exactly. So.
And what right would he have to replace Biden? I mean, he was only the runner-up in the last 2 Democratic nominating conventions with millions and millions of passionate younger voters that we definitely need to come out in November. So who is he to take the spot?
Good point. I'm glad they crushed him. I'm being sarcastic, but
would you, if you could pull the trigger on Michelle Obama, would you do it?
I mean, look, I'm looking at the other names. Gavin Newsom would give me an aneurysm. Like I would never vote for Gavin Newsom. I've seen what Gavin Newsom's done to California. I think Gavin Newsom would be the worst possible replacement. And he's got a record that is damning that most people on the national level are not aware of. And they will be made aware of it. Sure. I mean, would I vote for Michelle Obama? Yes, I would.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks. Really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.